Or good afternoon. But
or good
still
afternoon.
welcome.
It's morning somewhere in the world.
That's right. That is right. It is morning, and we already have Blaze here per usual. I am so sad that she was not able to make it to the KetoCon. But
I know.
next year for sure. But it's not,
Next year.
I guess technically no. Nobody's going to KetoCon next year.
Hack your health.
Hack your health.
Okay, I am pixelated on our screen here. We were just discussing our connections. I don't know why.
Yeah, mine appears to be like not pixelated for me.
Yeah, you look good because I'm looking on my computer, here. And so now that we popped up, I'm all pixelated and you look great.
Much sadness.
I don't know what to do about it.
Hi, Dustin at Keto Simple. Listen, you said, Dustin, 2 weeks ago on the live stream, you mentioned that it was National Velociraptor Day, and I was like, oh, stop it. My birthday is National Velociraptor Awareness Day. That just feels so fitting. So
That's right.
I mean, Velociraptor is my spirit animal, so, it works. It works for me. Howdy, Gary. Oh, don't worry about a birthday gift for me, Gary. It's not a big deal. All right. Michelle, I laughed really hard inside whenever Nili told us that Jeff did not know who Dr. Barry was.
Yeah. Whew. That was hilarious. Okay, and then trying to figure out my screen here, but
you're getting clearer on my phone.
It's so weird. I don't know. As long as you guys can hear me, then I think we'll be okay. Because I mean, I could try to. Well, I can't really go out and go back in. Anyway, whatever. As long as you can hear me, let me know if like my voice is cutting out. Although, how would you know that I said that if my voice was cutting out? Okay,
I'll type it in the chat.
Okay, sounds great. I was gonna say the other thing Jeff did at that dinner party was, and I think I mentioned this on my Wellness Wednesday, so some of you might have already heard it, but Nisha's mom was there at the party, and she travels with them to help watch the kids while they're doing all their, celebrity stuff. And so I met her. I forget her name. I wish I remembered her name. If anyone knows her name, let me know. And I met her and I was talking to her and I was like, oh, isn't it just great that you can travel with them and nanny for them? That's so wonderful. And Jeff heard me say nanny. And then later on, he wanted to strike up a conversation with her. So he's like, so how long have you been nannying for them? And she's like, well, I'm their grandmother. So I've been nannying. Well, she didn't really say this, but I would have said, I've been nannying for them since their mother was born. Anyway, but they had a good laugh, and then they had a nice chat. So it was okay. He didn't offend them too much. He didn't get kicked out. I was worried about that.
That is a win. Sometimes it's a goal to get kicked out of places, but I feel like in that moment it was probably a win.
Yeah. Anyways, I should have brought you as my plus one instead of Jeff. Although maybe you would have embarrassed me more. I don't know.
You're not wrong.
Oh goodness. Amy is here.
Hi, Amy and Cindy.
And Cindy's here. I just watched your KetoCon video this morning. That was so fun.
I've already
just all the things. It's so fun to see it from everybody's perspective, and all the different pictures, and yeah, it's super fun.
Yeah, 10 out of 10, great experience. I've already used the spoon that she gave us. So
not for spanking a child, I hope.
No, for stirring up zucchini in a skillet.
Multiple uses, Sorry, we didn't go there.
We will not.
Let's see.
Okay. Can we pause for
before
a second?
Before we get into all the KetoCon stuff, I have to tell you something terribly sad that happened this morning.
Oh no.
That totally ruined my morning, and then we'll get that out of the way, and then we'll talk about happier things.
I'm apprehensive.
Okay, so when I was drying off after my shower this morning, my CKM popped off.
I have been so fearful of that happening to me. Like, as the days go on, I'm like, oh, gentle.
I had 6 days left. I had 6 days left. It I didn't, it wasn't like I just forgot it was there and like rubbed really hard. It just like I barely bumped it and it popped.
No.
I had thought about putting on one of my extra Nutrisense patches when I got home, but it had stayed on so well the whole trip home. I was like, I'm not going to worry about it. So my advice to anyone who gets a CGM or a CKM, put a patch over it because you never know.
Yes. So
anyway,
last night we were watching. That's so sad. Like, that's heartbreakingly sad. Last night we were watching TV and my husband like snuggled up to me and I was like, wait a minute, that's my CKM arm. And he's like, I thought it was the other side. And I was like, no, it's this side. Fortunately, the way that we sleep, my CKM arm is on the outside of the bed. So I don't have to worry about him like whacking me in the middle of the night and popping that thing off. But I have been just like I mean, it's become a little bit obsessive ever since day 7 was done. I was like, okay, because my CGM from Nutrisense did that to me too. Like, I didn't get the sticker placed on it really, really well. And then there was a little wrinkle in it. Water got under it. So it peeled off pretty quickly. So I was like, oh, it's fine. No, I lost 3 days on my CGM because of that. So I'm also very like,
and I had some really great experiments I was about to try today. I was going to do something I swore I wouldn't do, but since I had the CKM, I was like, I just have to do it just to see. I was going to do a sardine day.
Oh, I have to do that now because you don't have yours in.
Yes, you do. You have to do it. So I was like, people just rave about how the sardines bump up their ketones and all that. And I was like, I just have to. Like, I wouldn't normally, but I have a CKM, so I have to.
Right. So
I
have a couple videos that are already like in the chute, ready to be like uploaded and get managed. And then I've got one that I'm in the middle of doing today. I did one overnight and I'm starting to notice something and it's interesting. So stay tuned. It's coming out. I mean, I can tell you later, but I got to create some sort of interest because I'm not interesting without some sort of clickbait, apparently.
That is not true. That is so untrue.
Oh, good times. Good.
Everybody.
I mean, by all technicalities, I did not use clickbait, but
it's true. Well, I mean, define clickbait.
It was a technicality.
It doesn't have to be untrue to be clickbait.
Really?
I don't think so. I mean, well, I don't think so. I mean, I guess it depends on how you define clickbait.
I'm going to go to the interwebs and define.
It's just something that is baiting people to click. And if it's a true thing, that's good bait. It's better bait because people will be satisfied at the end of the video instead of angry.
Okay. I always thought clickbait meant like a bait and switch.
Oh,
apparently, that literally means content whose main purpose is to attract attention and encourage visitors to click on a link to a particular web page.
Right. So, like, I don't use clickbait and switch. Like, I refuse to do that. But I will use like intrigue. You know, like when I did a gender reveal when I was pregnant with Levi. I'm not going to just say it's a boy on the title. I'm going to make you want to click it. Like, but my thing is, it should deliver. The content should deliver the expectation. When it doesn't, people lose trust and maybe you get a lot of new people clicking, but they're not going to be good subscribers and you're not going to make your subscribers happy. So it's like, not doing it.
And I've gotten mixed results on that video because technically there is no more official KetoCon with it being Hack Your Health now. So it's like, how do you tell your child like, okay, this rectangle, and they're like, but it's not a rectangle, it's a square. You know, it's semantic.
Yeah. But I don't think anyone should be angry at you for that. That was totally legit.
I found it amusing, and I hope that the majority of viewers found it tongue in cheek, kind of. But
I found it amusing, and before I clicked on the video, I knew I was like, ha ha. But that's great because no one who wasn't at the last day knew that, you know.
I had somebody comment saying that they were there, they knew the name change, and then they were still like, oh yeah. And Joe, he was like, wow, you definitely got me. Hey, you turned very clear. Your internet.
Oh, did I? Oh, I'm so glad. So I have my computer sitting here where I, have it muted, and so I can do the chat. And I switched that one to a different Wi-Fi network, so I didn't have both running in the same network. I think that probably helped.
Well, there's definitely a clarity to your video aspect now.
I'm so glad. Okay, Risa is asking if you can put the CKM back in after, and the answer is sadly no. It's not a stiff needle. It's a little flimsy filament piece. And so there's no sticking it back in.
No.
Very sad.
I did go through and try to reinstall my CGM when it popped off, and the filament, it was like, perfectly straight, and then it goes and it would not. There was nothing there. And I was wondering, my husband was asking this question too. Why do they only last for 14 days? And he was like, you would think that they would be able to last a lot longer than that. And I thought about that. I'm thinking it has something to do with battery life and being able to transmit that information through Bluetooth, and like that drains the battery. Or it could
I also wonder about having some object stuck in your arm for a long period of time.
Extended periods of time. Yeah.
Yeah, like if something could start growing. I don't know.
I mean, especially if you're showering with it and you don't have some kind of hermetical seal over top of it. And
there's probably multiple reasons for that.
Agreed.
Yeah. Let's see. Dustin asked up here at the beginning if I'm happy to be back into my routine. What?
I'm reading Dustin's last comment.
Oh. I was like, what did I say?
Fine. It's fine. Hang on 2 seconds. You can go to quiet time.
So yes, Dustin, I am happy to be back on my routine, although I feel like I'm not quite there yet. I feel like, and maybe Lindsay, you feel this way as well. Like I got back from KetoCon just amped up to like make videos and like really motivated. And then I'm like, the children need to be schooled? Like what? I don't have time for that. And they keep interrupting me.
I know.
It's like I was there for a week, and my job there was to be there and to make videos and edit videos, and that was it. Yeah. And it was so easy. Like no one interrupted me, like not much at least. Right. And I just could sit down and edit a video and put it out, and it was done. I didn't get interrupted 24 times.
Well, and the interruptions that did happen, they were related to the content you were making.
Right. So it was more content.
So it was simple. It was very narrow of focus. I agree wholeheartedly. It took us, so we got back home on Tuesday, and then I took Wednesday off from homeschooling the girls. We reset everything. They helped tidy the house. They helped do laundry, just the basic stuff. And then I said, okay, Thursday, we're going to get this, and this done for schoolwork. And also I'm going to try to get this, and this done for YouTube. And I really need to edit my videos and da-da-da-da. And they were like, nah, that's not what we're doing today. We are going to be a little bit more challenging than that. So there was lots of extra food in order to sort of like manage them, because being with grandma for a week, it's like, oh, you're hungry, let's just stuff you full. I mean, like my mother does a great job with girls, but also like there's
grandma's house.
It's grandma's house. So just trying to reacclimate to, this is our normal rhythm. Let's stick to the typical and Yeah, it takes a lot of time.
Yeah,
So,
and then with the CKM on, I was like, well, I have to get content. I only have, well, at least that's been taken off my plate now, literally.
I feel like day 7 of the CKM, my brain had some kind of moment of panic. Like time is it's half done.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit frazzled. I need to get all of these things done, but I don't have like my body has to process the foods that I eat or process like anything I'm doing. And so time is like a hot commodity, but I have to be like choosy now and it's hard. It's very hard.
It is our lives are so difficult.
I mean, they're pretty blessed.
No one would understand how difficult our lives are.
I'm sure plenty of people fully understand it.
I was being facetious.
What?
J-Bob wants to know what our 2 to 3 favorite carnivore snacks were.
So, okay, I didn't try hardly anything except for some of the things at Keto Chow's booth and the Keto Brick booth. My top 2 takeaways were I loved the Keto Chow core with the Wagyu tallow.
That was
Hands
delicious.
down, the best of all the Keto Chows, full stop. Second thing that was my most favorite would have been the blueberry carnivore, what was it? The blueberry muffin keto brick.
Mm-hmm.
That was amazing, and I'm just like kicking myself right now because I'm intended to go back and like buy 2 of those things, and then I failed miserably. And the one guy that we were talking to, didn't he say that was limited edition only for KetoCon?
Or I don't remember.
Something to that effect.
Maybe they were almost out or something.
But that one that you really liked that had the organ meat in it,
the brown batter, yeah,
in it, that one was really good too. But so those were the only 2 things I tried. I can tell you something that was not my favorite, and that was those ketone IQ shots.
Ooh, yeah.
But we're gonna see what that one does to my ketones.
So he spelled snacks with an X. So I think, and I'm saying J-Bob because Bob sounds I'm assuming they said snacks with an X. So the actual carnivore snacks.
Valid. Okay.
Yes.
Valid.
But I really like all of your answers for all of the food items.
Sure. I forgot that we tried carnivore snacks, or like I got to try it the first time.
Yes, I have a video. You're in my video tasting them all, I think.
That's right.
Or telling me which ones you like. So yeah, anyways. Pork loin.
That one, the pork was super good. And the ribeye was probably my favorite that I tried.
Okay. And then so if I were to pick 3, it's because it's like you could get brisket and ribeye, but they're very similar.
For sure.
Like, same kind. So if you're gonna get 3, you could do the pork loin, either the brisket or the ribeye. Either one is gonna be a win. And then the chicken breast. So they're all 3 very. You did, because they were like the wisps, kind of like cheese wisps.
That's
texture.
Right. Those were good too.
So those are really good. The texture is just way different than the carnivore crisps one. The carnivore crisps were more like a chip, like a potato chip.
Yeah.
Thinness and everything. But the carnivore snacks, it's almost like a cheese wisp. Like the chicken was somewhat ground or chopped or something.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I'll mention about those is that they don't survive the mail very well, and they come kind of like crumbled. It would be nice if they were, I think they're supposed to be like little squares.
Okay.
Chips.
So the chicken is the only one that winds up a little bit crumbled in mail.
That I have noticed. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. It's just that different texture that they do.
Yeah.
Doesn't hold up to the mail as well. But it's really good. And they're still good to, just snack on. It's kind of like a trail mixer.
Yeah.
Oh, so anyways, those 3 I like because they're all just so very different.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm typing.
Okay. Let's see. Deb Riley is busy at work trying to listen between customers. I hope we don't distract you too much. Oh, Lynette's here. Hi, Lynette.
Hi, Lynette. Sorry.
Sherry Watkins is here. We met Sherry at KetoCon.
Yeah. We also met Deb, and she made us adorable pens.
Oh yeah. I love that.
So great.
Yeah. We ended up switching pens, me and Lindsay, because we felt like they were more appropriate.
That's right.
That's great. Because mine says like captain of the struggle bus or something. Mm-hmm. And yours was,
it's in my room
about saying something.
It was very much, it was like basically being a bulldozer, but not with the word bulldozer. Which is just totally me.
Okay, Amy says that, let's see, where did it go? That the ketone IQ shots cure her headaches.
That's fantastic for you, Amy. I wish that I could gift it to you, because that was an experience. And yeah, I do have a video that I'm going to be editing about that experience shortly.
I also have one about the ketone shot. So thankfully I got in a few little experiments before the sadness happened this morning.
Before the moment of despair.
It was so sad. Gosh. So frustrating.
The moment of lost opportunity.
Yes.
Good way to say it.
But at least I don't have to eat sardines today.
And now I have to. Like, that has to be tomorrow's
for me.
That has to be tomorrow's experiment, because
you gotta do it.
I'm so pissed that mine's gonna pop off.
Since we're practically the same person, I can assume whatever happens to your ketones when you eat sardines will happen to my ketones when I eat sardines.
Accurate. So. 10 out of 10 agree.
There you go.
Totally agree.
Let's see. What have we missed here?
I'm sure we've missed plenty of things. I love that everybody is chatting with one another in the comments section. Like,
no, me too.
That's so awesome. Okay. Can we sort of give a little bit of context as to why we have these coffee chats?
Sure.
Okay. So we started these off as a way for us to just kind of like hang out, chat, talk with our community peoples, but also be able to hold one another accountable in terms of things that we really wanted to accomplish, like exercise.
What? I never heard of it. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's not real. I didn't agree to that. That's not it. That's not the business.
I need proof in writing that I actually agreed to this.
Well, okay. We'll let it slide this week, because we're still kind of like reliving our KetoCon experience. But that is, generally speaking, like the overarching kind of idea. We rarely ever come prepared with any thoughts or ideas about what we want to talk about, but that's just some context for people watching. And not every conversation will revolve around KetoCon, I think. Maybe.
Probably not.
Definitely
not forever.
It was such a wild experience. There's just, I don't know. I've never gotten to do the thing, so it's wild.
It is.
And I really hope that Kevin Stock, the dentist, I really hope that his discussion comes out, because, we missed it. And that was like sadness about that one for sure.
Yeah. That one was good. Yeah, I'm sad about a lot of the ones we missed.
I know.
I wanted to see Dr. Boz. I wanted to see Sally Norton.
Yeah.
I wanted to see Keto Savage.
Yeah.
So there is the replay pass that you can purchase to see all the things, but I have not looked into how much it costs or anything. I haven't found it.
I do know how much it costs.
Okay, how much does it cost?
You had a general admission ticket. It costs $50 extra to get access to all of the talks in perpetuity. Like, you will always have access to them. If you did not go to KetoCon, did not have a general admission ticket, I believe it is $100 to get access to every single talk that happened.
Okay.
And I'm torn about it because I do think that there were discussions that would have been worth it to be able to go back and replay and that sort of thing, especially given the fact that sometimes the audio was a little bit garbly, sometimes the microphones weren't quite, managed well. But I'm like, $50 more.
Yeah, it is a lot. And I feel like they put them online at some point. Like at
Yeah.
some point we'll be able to see them because you can go on their website and you can find all the previous years of talks. So I don't know
Yeah.
how long we wait to do that, but I'm like, can we hold out until then?
Like there's tons of great information that's, still available, and you just have to dig a little harder for it, I think. So
Yeah.
it's a matter of, if you want it now, you have to dig, but it's not even accessible yet, I don't think. I know that Joe mentioned that Robin, she said it was going to be a little bit of time between KetoCon and then actually having it available because of editing and all of that jazz. So I don't know. I don't even know that it's actually accessible just yet.
Okay.
But
Yeah. Ketosis Focus is here.
howdy.
She saw the Dr. Boz talk and it was good. Yeah. I can tell you what, she is the most adorable person I have ever seen. And like the little dresses she wears and the
She is
pearls.
so
Oh
stylish.
my goodness. And she dressed like that every day that she was there.
Yeah.
Like you just see her in her beautiful red dress with the pearls.
So cute.
So adorable.
She has excellent style. She's got a really approachable like demeanor to her. I didn't go meet her. I didn't even go meet Dr. Barry.
He was mobbed.
He was mobbed, and I was like, I'm not like a part of his tribe, on his community website or anything like that. I'm not going to take this time whenever other people who are members of his community have, been there. I'm not going to try to usurp anything.
And they were only there for a real short time each day.
Right.
Like maybe a couple hours.
But I did get to meet Misha because of you.
Yeah. And Kim.
And
That
Kim,
was fun.
she is so tall. I did not expect that. Like I expected Nisha to be short, like us, but I did not expect Kim to be as tall as she was. So
yeah, well, I tell you what, Dr. Barry is very tall.
Yeah.
Like I gave him a hug and like his chest was here. It's like wow. I always thought I was pretty average, but you made me feel very tiny.
Apparently we are not. I don't know if you saw Anita's most recent video. She was talking about how she's so short apparently, and I'm like, you didn't seem that short to me. I feel like we're all pretty average.
Yeah, I'm like 5'4.5" to 5'5", like depending on the day.
I mean, you are taller
I'm not that much taller than Anita.
No.
Yeah.
Not at all. Good times.
And so if we all Fab Four get together, I know Amy's gonna be.
She's gonna be towering over us, and then Janet, and then
is she tall? I don't remember.
Janet's like 5'6" or so. 5'6",
okay, yeah.
5'7".
We'll be the midgets.
I mean, I will be anyway. Because I'm like, every year I'm gonna get an inversion situation at some point in my life, so maybe I can achieve 5'4".
There you go. Let's see. Oh, I brought something. I was prepared with something today. Okay, so
I'm worried.
my friend Kim Howerton gave me this at KetoCon. And I have not tasted it yet. And I have my water and ice over here ready, and I was gonna taste it. I had wanted to like do a video of us tasting it there together, but
did not come to fruition.
It was a whirlwind. Like we didn't do any like sit down videos, like nothing.
We didn't. We were just like so fully in the moment. I mean, we probably sat down in that podcasting booth and just been like, blah, 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 blah. Does it smell amazing?
Smells like grapefruit.
You know what is amazing? Grapefruit growing up, my aunt, she would always take a Texas grapefruit, because you know those are massive, and she would slice it in half, and then she would sprinkle salt on top of it and eat it for breakfast.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we always did sugar, but she always did
Growing
salt.
up, we always did sugar.
Yeah. So it's basically going to be like what my aunt used to eat for breakfast all the time.
I usually put the powder in first and then the water, and it dissolves really easy. When you put the powder on top of the water, it takes a minute. Come on, dissolve.
You need a little whiz, dude.
I do.
Niece or Risa, you're 5 foot. That is precious. I am very rarely ever taller than anybody, so I would probably want to stand next to you for at least like a little bit.
All right. Still not dissolved all the way, but I'm
ice. This is why I don't do ice. Ice gets in the way.
Yeah. Usually I put the ice in first. I put the powder on top of the ice, and then I put the water on top of that, and it almost never clumps. All right, here we go.
Stop it. No. No.
I mean, it's terrible. Don't be sad that you don't have any.
The worst. That is so
really good. Wow. All right, I think this is supposed to be coming back.
Okay.
Soon, because it's a summer flavor.
When it comes back, because I'm just going to believe it will come back, I will definitely be ordering a box.
Do it. It's really good.
I'm already having to ration my chocolate medley boxes. I bought 2, or did I get 3? I think I've already gone through one of them. So I'm like really carefully guarding the rest of those, because you know, I can be a bit extremist when it comes to consumption of things. So I'm having to be very stern with myself and only allowing like one every other day in order to like prolong the enjoyment until winter when they come back out again.
Yes.
And then I might have to buy a box of 4.
Yes, this is grapefruit salt is the flavor. Which it's been only a summer flavor, like a seasonal thing. And
yeah,
I think it's coming back. I don't have any, hard data, but I think it's coming back, for the summer.
Said June or July is coming soon. Hopefully it comes back. I agree. So I found out
it's legitimately delicious.
Well, then it's legitimately going in my cart if it comes back.
Yes.
I found out some of my friends here in our community, we were at church and I had my Element mug drinking my coffee, and they were like, wait a minute, you drink the Element too? And they've just started learning, like for the past like 6 to 8 months, they've been learning about like carnivore and that kind of stuff. And they've been listening a lot to like Paul Saladino and stuff. So they got a bunch of Element, and they were like, wait a minute, you got Element too? And I was like, yeah, I stinking love it. And we got to talking about the spicy flavors. They were like, you can drink those in water? Oh, and I'm like, yes.
Yeah, those are not my favorite.
I do love a good spice. So those 2, I've got a full box of the lemon and of the mango. What is it? Wow. Lemon, habanero, and mango chili.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have 2 boxes of or a box of each of those, and also don't want to run out of those.
Yeah, I like the spicy ones if I can cut it with some of like a citrus with a lemon habanero, half and half, then I can enjoy it. But just straight, I'm like, ooh, I can't do it. Did you see that Element just put up a recipes page on their website? Yeah, I just got an email about it this morning. And you can submit recipes if you have
oh, cool.
Element recipes too. So that's cool because there are a lot of good ones out there.
Well, I have a few more ideas if they ever decide to sponsor me again. I see now. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, whenever I bought the hot chocolate with splashing coffee on my face. When I bought that, kit or that pack, I noticed that they had a little booklet in there of like all the hot drinks and things like that to use all of the chocolate flavored ones.
Yes,
Really
that was
cool. Very, very cool. Yeah, I have a few other like food ideas, not just drink ideas. So someday, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
I doubt it.
It'll happen. Believe it.
Good times.
Um,
Black pepper
ooh,
chai.
mango chili element with hot green tea.
But
That
also
would be interesting. And on
that
avocados, I've heard that's good. I still need to do that.
I can't do that. So try for
Right.
me. I'll
Yeah,
try
I will.
sardines with the CKM. You try element on avocado.
I feel like it would be good in like a shrimp breading, like
Huh.
mango chili, like fried
Yeah.
shrimp. Might
Do
have
it
to try that.
seafood style. Yeah. Or on salmon, maybe? Because usually
That
like
would be
the
good.
lemon habanero, because normally you squeeze lemon on salmon.
Yes. Yes. Well, and mango salsa is good with salmon too, so mango chili would probably be good as well. Good on taco salad. Yep. Hey, I wonder how long it'll be until they start selling like bottles of like seasoning, element seasoning.
Right. You know what surprised me? What was it? That was the ground up beef or the organ meats.
Pluck.
It's seasoning pluck.
Pluck.
That was surprisingly delicious. Like I was actually shocked that they were able to get the seasonings to come out harder than the actual organ meats.
Yeah, because you'd think it'd be diluted. The
Yeah,
seasoning would
yeah.
be diluted. Chris is finally here. We've been waiting for 37 minutes.
We really
Like not
have it.
talking about anything because Chris wasn't here.
That's accurate.
But you're shooting a video, so you can't stay. It's very
That sounds pretty
disappointing.
lame. That sounds
Disappointment all around.
okay.
Oh yeah, I think Joe and Rachel have done recipes with the element, and maybe they did do it on shrimp.
No, they did the pina colada from Keto
Oh,
Cow on like coconut crusted shrimp.
yeah, that would be good.
They definitely did that.
That
We'll have to
would
go
be
back.
good.
It's like Seinfeld, but in real time, Chris. That's what this is. It's a show about nothing.
Yeah,
Okay,
it really is. It really is, and somehow it still entertains people.
I mean, it entertains me, and I feel like that's
Yeah. So really, like, we get to like if you lived next door, we
Yeah.
would get together for coffee. You don't live next door, so we just get together for coffee like this.
And we do it in a glass.
And everyone else is invited.
That's right. That's right.
All right, bye, Chris.
Blaze, come back. Blaze. What do you mean before that, Lindsay? Like before what? Context. Context is king. Keep it about nothing, W. Kip says. We like it that way. Well,
Okay, good.
You are very fortunate because that is the way that things will wind up being.
We don't have any plans to add value.
We really don't. Listen, we're getting vitamin F, vitamin fellowship.
There you go. Yeah, that was the theme of the KetoCons where there was vitamin P and vitamin G and surprise, it's not really a vitamin.
Jared was actually got a little bit on the vitamin G. He was like, wait a minute, that one sounds legit. Because like you get all the way, there's a K and I've never heard of vitamin G. What is it? And then whenever what's his face said vitamin gratitude, and Jared was like, clickbait.
Exactly. Because there really is no vitamin G, so it's a lie. It's clickbait. Clickbait and switch.
That one was a clickbait and switch. That one
was. Mary says, "Are we trying to make everyone hungry?" And yes, that is the goal. And thirsty.
I mean,
this is delicious.
stop it. Mean.
Sorry.
So rude. How rude.
I'm so sorry.
Risa has had the pluck and said that they are wonderful. She's tried them all, worth the money. She adds Pluck Pure to the burgers. That is a great idea.
Wow.
So, one of the funny things that I thought about when we listened to the organ meats discussion is that I have been doing, liver in my ground beef. I've got a video on my channel like from way back when, and I'm like, this is like I feel like that moment when I've always been doing a thing and then all of a sudden other people suggest doing the thing and it's like, I was doing that. I've been doing that. I am validated, but also I did it already.
Yeah.
Kind of like when Marie Kondo came out with her like magical folding method. I'm like, I've been doing that since we lived on an RV for, like more than, I guess, what is it? I don't know, 13 years ago. So I feel, well, womp womp.
Yeah. Well, but you didn't have a Netflix show and a book about it, so it doesn't count.
You're not wrong. I should have probably tried to market us living on the RV full time, and showing my little things that I would do.
Yeah, that would have been awesome. All right, so Dustin is having caffeine withdrawals day 2. I'm very sorry. Try L-tyrosine. It is an amino acid. It's cheap. You can get it, at a health food store, and it helps with caffeine withdrawals.
Fascinating.
So, yeah.
L-tyrosine. Huh.
Yeah. And you take it in the morning because it's one of the ones that can give you energy. There's some that make you sleepy, and some that give you more energy, and it's one of the ones you want to take in the morning. So there you go.
Also increase your electrolytes.
Not that I'm a doctor or nutritionist or a healthcare professional in any way.
Just giving you something you can try for your own N=1 experiment.
Exactly. No, I'm just saying what I would do if I was.
There it is. There it is.
I'm not telling you what you should do. I'm just saying what I would do. That's all.
Accurate. Speaking of telling people what they should and shouldn't do you find yourself receptive to things that people tell you what you should and should not do?
I think it depends on the context.
Okay.
Because if I go to my doctor and say, "Hey doctor, what should I do?" and she tells me what I should do, I'm very receptive.
That's where
if someone comes on my YouTube channel, leaves a comment about how I should raise my children, usually I'm not very receptive.
Yes. So I think that you're right. Context for sure matters. If you're asking for the advice or suggestions, that matters greatly.
Or if it's coming from someone I respect and I know gives good advice, or I know cares deeply about me.
Yes.
That is important. If it's someone that, doesn't know me, doesn't care about me, then I'm not as receptive.
For sure. I try often to not tell people what they should do unless they are my children. And it is exceptionally difficult to practice not telling people what they should and should not do. But I find that exercising that muscle is so useful in being able to actively participate in community with others. And I much respect when people choose not to dictate at me as well.
Yeah, because it kind of puts you in a defensive place where you either do it or take the advice or you're against them.
Yeah.
And that's not a very kind place to put people, unless it's something that's, super serious, that's hurting somebody. Then it's like,
absolutely,
this is where we have to draw the line. I will say, as far as the children thing, I am in a place where with Autumn, my oldest, who will be 18 next month.
That's not real.
Like, we're in that transition, and we have been in that transition from I tell you what to do to letting you be an adult and letting you make your, and so that's hard. I'm telling you, that's hard when I see her doing something or, being a certain way or making certain choices. And I'm just like, I want to just tell you, but I'm going to respect that you're an adult, and we're like, it's like the goal of parenting is to get to the place where your child is your peer rather than your child.
Yeah.
That not everyone agrees with that, but that's the way we have chosen to approach it. And our hope is that they surpass us in wisdom and maturity, and that they'll
And
take care of us
hopefully
one
sooner.
day. Yeah. So, anyways, but I'll tell you, it is not easy to make that switch in your brain and to know like when to
Back off and when to
to draw those lines and what to say like at the different times. Like, is this something I just let go and let her figure out, or should I step in? And if I do step in, how do I phrase, my advice? And anyways, that's a whole thing.
That's probably why parents are so tired. It's not a physical exhaustion after they're about 5 years old. It's always an emotional, mental
Yeah.
obstacle course, but
Yeah.
marathon style.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, it's
I was just curious about that because, oftentimes people are very quick to dictate how other people live their lives without really putting a mirror up to themselves to say, "Ooh, maybe not, maybe not."
Yeah. Well, and I appreciate people having real conversations and,
Yes.
instead of just having a surface level, like, oh, we all agree about everything, but to
No.
say difficult things that you think, but to be able to do it in a way that doesn't put the other person on the defensive. Like, I
Yeah.
have to either accept it and submit to it or fight against it.
Yeah.
So there is some skill, because there are some people that they might have some good points, but the way that they say it, it just comes across as
Raw.
I know everything, and you either do everything I say or you're stupid.
That's right.
I feel like there's a lot of like health influencers like that.
There really are. It's
I
fascinating.
tend to get turned off by that when it's like everyone that disagrees with me is an idiot. Okay.
Pretty broad generalization there, but okay.
Yeah. So, anyways, I try not to do that when I talk about health and nutrition. Like, oh man,
Well, I think the moment that we become dogmatic about anything is the moment that we think that we are unteachable, or we think that we have arrived, and then you can't walk things back as
yes,
as you could have if you would have said, this thing or this thing might be something you look into because of this, this, and this, and just let it go. And I don't know.
And I feel like for me, and I think probably for you, like we share our health journey in real time.
Yeah.
Which means like by default, we don't have it figured out.
Yes. But that's so easy for people to forget.
Yes. Oh, well, yeah. And, it's like, so there have been times I've shared something because I'm sharing what I'm experiencing in the moment. And then time passes and it's like, I find out like the reasons that something happened previously, and it's different than I thought then. And so it's kind of like, I don't know. But I can only, at the time, I can only share what I have in my brain at the time. I don't have that, that view of everything, 2020 view. So anyways, that's why I always try to say I could change next week. I don't take anything I say, just I'm sharing my own experience. Like, anyways, it's tricky, but then like it would be nice to just get everything figured out and then go tell everybody. And there are some people that act like they've done that.
Yep.
And maybe they have gotten it figured out. I don't know. But I tend to get turned off by that, where there's like no change. Like they just they say they have had it. They got they have figured it out, and now they are declaring to the world their message. Yeah.
But they never arrived anywhere because they never moved.
Right. Or they arrived a long time ago and now they've just been living in bliss this whole time.
That sounds like boring to me.
Yeah.
If there wasn't a challenge in life, I think I would be very, very bored with life.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
I do enjoy a good challenge.
And that's kind of why, like with my YouTube channel, I feel like if I just had one message, I wouldn't be able to continue because it would just be boring to just share the same thing every day. And
Yeah.
I know that there are some people who, like, that's their mission in life. Like,
Yeah.
they do have one message and they're just passionate, and that's like their mission to just share that one message. And that's great. Like, if that's what, motivates you and you're able to do it. But for me, it's just like, if I just picked one topic or one thing that I felt like I had figured out and just only shared that, I would be bored.
To death.
Yeah. So anyways, that's why my channel, it's always changing and experimenting and trying to figure stuff out.
Well, and that's why I always feel like my whole experience is like a quest. Like I
Yes.
have no clue what the end point is, but I know I'm going to fight to get there.
Yeah.
So it's always unknown. And I do enjoy going into the unknown because that means that there's something to be learned, and I
Yeah.
don't learn very well if I already have a solid knowledge base on something. If it's
Yeah.
something totally brand new, I'm like, oh, wow, I've got to actually apply myself here. I should think through this a little bit more.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Beth says, I love getting information, but I don't like it being shoved down my throat along with a dose of judgment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You catch more flies with honey than with vinegar. And
So
there's a lot of YouTube commenters that could use
maybe
that piece
people
of
have to.
advice.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Absolutely. So good.
yeah.
Also,
Dustin said,
hi, Rickwin.
oh, Rickwin's here.
She is. She was
Um,
having some issues, it looked like, but she made it.
yes. Um, Dustin said nutrition and the food people will and won't and the foods people will and won't eat has become like politics. Yeah. It's very true.
Absolutely.
Very true. And it's just so unnecessary.
Well, and I don't know. It's one of those situations where if you have access to food, you're blessed to begin with. And then if you have the opportunity to
Yeah.
choose what you eat, you're even more blessed by that.
Mhm.
So then to be told like you have to do it my way or you're wrong, it's kind of one of those like weird things like, I'm going to choose to eat what I choose to eat and live in the circumstances I've been put in and be content with that.
Yeah.
And it's really hard when some people like say, well, we can't afford that, or, oh, no, you have to eat all this one type of way and it has to be like perfect, pure, 100% this. And it's like, well, some people are in different situations. So if that situation works for the person telling people about it, great. But
Yeah.
allow for differences in lives, just like differences in health. Like all of our equation of health is going to have different variables and different coefficients. And you're never going to be able to say, like, you with your iron issues, those are not my issues. So I can't
Right.
say, oh, Neely is doing these things, so I must need to do these things too. Like, that doesn't make any sense. My chemistry is different. My situation is different. It just doesn't add up. So,
Yeah. Well, and that's why I like to just follow a huge variety of people,
oh, yeah.
because I'm not looking for one person to tell me like the gospel truth of diet and nutrition for all people. I'm looking for other people's experiences in
Hmm.
their life, and I can get ideas and take, whatever is helpful to me from them, but then also just enjoy getting to experience their journey. That's like
Yeah.
the power of the story, like just
Yeah.
hearing other people's stories and their experience. And that's one of the amazing things about KetoCon, was getting to meet people and hear their stories, and people saying how recipes that I've created have been so helpful for them or for their husband, or whatever. And it's just like,
Yeah.
to hear those stories, it's just a powerful thing. And I don't have to make their story my story,
That's
but
right.
their story can inform my story or even just give me encouragement.
Yep.
Like there's power in that, and that's like the power of community. And so it doesn't have to be, I find someone who has written the manifesto of health and nutrition for all people, and I, worship them and follow everything they say and go and touch the hem of their garment.
Yeah.
That's not, I mean,
That's
nutrition is not religion. But with, the community, we can get so much value just from experiencing everybody else's journey and watching people walk through difficult things and figure things out for themselves. And like, it's the human experience.
Right. Well, and sharing for the purpose of empowering others to figure out things for themselves is a pretty solid approach. I mean, I'd never expect anybody to follow me exactly, and I'm never going to follow anybody else exactly, but I sure can be inspired.
Yeah.
And I can think about things in a different perspective. Like that is something that I value tremendously, is other people's perspectives, so that I can either have greater context to what other things there may be out there, or I can be more solid in doing what I'm doing for my personal chemistry, and also demonstrate respect for somebody else's differences. So
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
And I will throw out here that I do recognize the place for like a doctor to write a diet book,
Absolutely.
or to have a course, or to have a plan or a program. Like, I'm not saying that in and of itself is a bad thing.
Yes.
Because people need a place to start. And I've used all kinds of different diet programs as places to start, to figure out what works for me. And for some people, it's like they pick one diet plan and that ends up being the thing that works for them for the rest of their life. And that's fantastic. So I wouldn't say that, someone that has created a food list or a diet plan or whatever, that they're doing something wrong. But I would hope that those people that are doing that would recognize the limitations of a program like that.
Yeah.
And that it should allow for personal adjustment depending on what people need. And there are definitely, diet books and doctors out there like that. Even Dr. Barry, like he's, the proper human diet guy, and he's pretty close to carnivore himself. But if you listen to his stuff, he's like the proper human diet can include up to 100 grams of carbs in a day, depending on what works for you. And I think that's fantastic, and that's not to say that the person with, diabetes out of control should go and eat 100 grams of carbs. Maybe they're on, the lower end of that, but just to have that flexibility to allow for people to find what works for them. Like Jonathan Shane that we met at KetoCon, he is a runner, and he found that when he added some carbs, I forget how much he said, 50 to 100 maybe,
something in there. Yeah.
that his blood sugar went down, which is, I saw something similar, and his ketones actually went up when he added in carbs. And it's like, let's allow for that to happen for somebody, because there are influencers out there, and doctors even, that say, any carbs will kill you.
I know.
And you're like, well, like, what?
Plants are out to kill you people.
Yeah. Well, and then when I put my video out about how adding some carbs can sometimes lower some people's blood sugar, and like explained the mechanism of how it lowers cortisol, I had a lot of people say that this is terrible advice, that all carbs cause the insulin rise and blah blah blah. And I'm like, if you're so low carb that your cortisol is up, you're getting an insulin rise from that. So if insulin rise is the problem, like, I'm talking about how to like get the lowest possible, using these different variables. But it was just like this idea that carbs are just evil and that anyone that has them, it will cause them to have hyperinsulinemia. And you're like, well, that's a little extreme. Not necessarily true. Let's actually look at all the little nuances here.
Yeah.
And I understand that not everyone has the energy and ability or desire to look at all the little nuances, and they'd rather just, I'm just gonna, eat meat and not worry about it. I get that. Like, that is simple. And sometimes I'm like, yeah, that sounds really nice to just not have to think about anything but eating twice a day meat.
Yep.
But, that's not the
reality for everyone.
But I do understand why people choose that.
Listen, carbs feed the food I eat, so I am happy to ingest carbs secondhand.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, I also do eat vegetables so there's that.
I laugh about when the carnivore crowd, and I've heard Paul Saladino talk about this and some other carnivore people about how it just makes sense that we would get all of the things we need from meat because we're made of meat. Like because we are meat. Meat has all of the building blocks for us. It makes sense.
Yep, like attracts like.
Cows are also meat, but they don't eat meat. So it's like the logic, it sounds right at first, like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
But then you got to step further.
A certain way in which that's true. But then you're like, but that doesn't work for cows or goats or sheep.
Yeah.
So it's like, or like, even like chickens, they're omnivores, but if you just only fed them meat, I don't know for sure, but I don't think that would be a good thing.
As not a chicken owner, I have no context for that, but it doesn't sound right. If you're an omnivore, you should be able to extract nutrition from all of the foods that you eat.
Yes. Well, and then I've always said that with that logic of you need to eat the things that you're made of in order to build that.
I'm not eating people.
The only logical endpoint is cannibalism. So you're not a true carnivore until you're a cannibal. Uh-oh. I'm afraid I may have lost you. Yvonne, yes, cows don't digest like we do. So I was making the kind of an extreme example. So we're not lions either. So to say that we should eat exactly like lions may not be true, and we're not cows. So to say we should eat like cows, not exactly true. I think we're somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
So
like pigs and chickens.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. Anyways, but there's room for personal expression. If you want to be a vegan, there is a more healthy way to do that. If you want to be a carnivore, there is a more healthy way to do that. And there's a whole lot in between that you can figure out what works for you.
Well, and I think that oftentimes if you are seeking out some information in anywhere within the health realm, you're actively trying to improve yourself. So I would encourage you in that. If you want to go vegan and you find enough science to back it up for your own personal comfort level, I will actively support that. If you want to go carnivore and you find the science to support your choice that you want to make, I mean, you don't have to validate it with science for anybody but your own self. Like, if you are actively trying to improve your health for the sake of like having a more high quality life, I will happily support that. But like, allow it to be about you achieving a greater existence so that you can participate actively in community or serve your community or serve your family or live a life that is valuable to you. So
yeah, and sometimes and sometimes being so focused on getting the perfect diet can take away from your value of life, and can, if you always have to bring your little Tupperware of food to the dinner party, you have to take that into account.
Sure,
nutrition isn't the only thing
of our health.
Exactly.
Now,
Yeah.
if you do have to bring your own food to the gatherings and to the dinners and things like that, don't feel weird about it, but also balance that with the rest of the stress level involved in that, and
Yeah.
decide what like where is the value for you to be able to still actively have relationship with people and to honor your own body with what it does well with.
Yeah. And I feel like you always have to there always has to be something that you're missing out on. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but
Yeah. You have to make a
you
choice.
can't have everything perfect. I mean, you just can't. If you choose to have a perfect diet where you're like dialing in macros and you're counting micronutrients and like you're going to miss out on something. Like we don't have the capacity. It's kind of like with my kids and my house and my husband and the farm. It's like I can't do all of them perfectly. I have to like prioritize certain ones at certain times depending on the need. I wish I was Superwoman that was able to have a perfectly clean house and have perfectly bathed and fed children and my perfect diet and exercise every day and, like be the
Perfect
perfect wife.
homestead.
Yes. And you just like, I can't. I mean, maybe you can. I can't.
Nope.
And so it's like letting go of the idea that you can, first of all, is pretty freeing. Uh, it
Yep.
it takes a weight off when you're just like, yeah, I'm not good at everything.
Yep. I was actually having a similar conversation with our 12-and-a-half-year-old. We've been walking through maturing from childhood up to, adulthood eventually.
Mhm,
And as those things shift, a lot of trying to make connections and logical connections and assert one's authority starts to rear its head from
mhm,
the young adolescent. And so having the conversations with her that I expect you to behave this way, but I never expect perfection. I only
mhm,
expect you to give your best in
mhm,
with what you've got.
mhm,
Because I think for children, oftentimes they can think very black and white. It's very difficult to find nuance. And for her to expect her to always without fail, be perfectly respectful, to always have the perfect kind, serene attitude, to have, like a heart of servitude, any of those things,
mhm,
any of the virtues is absolutely ridiculous because she can't, just like we can't be perfect. And so whenever I'm having all these discussions with her, I'm like, I know it's hard and I know I fail all the time. I am imperfect and I do not expect perfection from anybody else on this planet.
mhm.
We're just trying to move toward this particular goal. And
Yeah,
I know that it's going to be a long process and it's going to be hard.
yeah,
Don't beat yourself up over a long, hard experience when you are trying to improve.
yes. I has had this discussion with my husband a while back. We were talking about gentleness and
Mm,
how gentleness isn't just a thing in and of itself. Gentleness takes into account the thing or the person you're being gentle towards. Like,
mm.
I'm gentle in a different way to a bunny than I am to my dog
Yeah.
because the bunny can't handle what the dog can handle. And so we don't just say, "Well, I'm just a gentle person," or, you know, "I was gentle because I acted this certain way." You
Yeah.
have to have in your mind the state of the person or the thing that you're being gentle towards, and if you don't, you're not being gentle. You can't just
That's a,
say, "Well, I was gentle to the dog and I did the same thing to the bunny and that was gentle."
yeah, you can't headbutt a bunny the way you can a dog.
Exactly. Exactly. So, anyways, that was a little nugget there.
Yeah, that's really good. I think that always taking into consideration who you are serving or having conversation or relationship with, and then being able to adapt to the circumstances is such a powerful skill set to learn so that we can do life on this planet the way that, does not cause harm.
Yep. And you have to do the same thing with diet and nutrition.
You really
You have
do.
to take into consideration the state of the body. You can't just say, I live a healthy lifestyle and have it be this thing off in the distance. You have to take into consideration your body and where you're at,
Right.
what's going on, and that informs how you are healthy and gentle to your body.
Yeah. It's good. It's good. We've landed that plane.
All right. Well, we've been on here for an hour and 10 minutes. Okay,
Oh,
and Dustin's granddaughter is here watching as well. Dustin, do you mind sharing her name? Because we'd like to say hi to her. If you don't want to share her name, that is totally fine too.
I mean, that's reasonable.
But that's pretty sweet. She was asking if we're his friends. And
Absolutely.
the answer is absolutely yes.
Of course we are.
Yes, we are.
I don't know that I'm going to make
her own
meet up in Indiana.
Oh my gosh, that's so sweet. That is so sweet. So I can't believe that I'm as close, like being a grandmother is becoming like closer and closer. Like it could happen. It could happen. Some
really
point
could
soon,
happen.
which is pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Oh, she's not here anymore. She's off getting a bath now. All right. Well, next time we'll say hi to her.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's so great. I love it. All right. Let's wrap this up here. Thanks everyone for joining us and hanging out. Next week we will be on Lindsay's channel. So go subscribe to Lindsay if you're not already, which I'm sure everyone is because your channel is like blowing up after KetoCon.
Listen, I am blown away by the amount of people who have said she's interesting enough to hang around a little bit. So I appreciate everybody who has subscribed to me, period. And then just the inrush of people that have committed to at least hanging out for a video or two. I truly appreciate it. So
amazing.
Come hang out with me. See if you like me well enough to hang out on my channel longer.
Yep. And we will be there next Tuesday, same time.
Same place.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We will see you next week. Bye.